Tell you what, Terry, it's not a very nice morning to celebrate the 50th vlog.
We're the 50th now.
Half a century, isn't it, today? For this. Anyone tell me what this is? You might have some reference with the badge here, the old school Lancia fans. This has come in from Europe. It was last week's, one of last week's drop-offs, along with the 612 Scalagetti. If you've seen that already. Can you tell me what it is? Anyone?
Can you tell what it is yet?
Can you tell? We'll give you more on that later. Hey guys, JimWD. Welcome to another episode of the WhiteDetails vlog. Vlog number 50. Here we are, half a century. Believe it or not though, this is me once again apologising for poor audio on the footage. Can't believe it. In the space of I think 3 or 4 vlogs, it's the second time water has got into the microphone on top of the Canon camera. The on-off power button is on the very top of the camera next to the microphone. So I've had the camera outside, I've been doing the wet work and the washing, fingers have been wet, moisture got into the mic, it's corrupted the whole bloody video. The week itself was pushed with a deadline. The vehicle had to be ready for Friday. The camera didn't get picked up a great deal in the first place, to be honest, but what footage I did have was quite geared and focused towards the rarity and the opportunity of working on this awesome motor vehicle. I'm now sat at the desk working on how to best progress with the edit. Some of the audio I will use, you'll hear there's a faint problem. So here's to hoping it won't happen again. Finished with the wet work on the Zagato, and although it's wet outside, I just want to dry the discs off before the vehicle's in stationary for the next few days, for the next week in fact. All this is doing is drying the discs out, so they're going to be nice and clean and shiny and spandly and not get rusty. Of course, what with it being wet outside, there's going to be a lot of splatter down the sides and down the wheel well. So Terry is going to rinse the whole vehicle down. Rinse the whole vehicle down without getting the discs wet, of course, because that'll be a pointless operation to remove the loose stuff from the sides of the panels before we go inside. Are we square, Terry?
No, come over and nose a little bit.
Your way.
Yeah. Couple of inches. About there. Level it off with that, that's fine.
arrive in 2x2, hurrah, hurrah. These vehicles have come from abroad, afar, afar. The jobs arrive in 2x2, a green Integrale in 612. They're here for the full works, I believe in here, better than do the white detail. Yay! Tuesday dinner time. I've gone for a 5-egg scrambled egg, 3 slices of toast, and a tin of beans. And you've got some
stewy, soupy, sausagey, stoopy soon.
Oh goodness, look at that.
Look at that, what my missus gave me.
I think we'll both be today. Moving around to the offside of wing. More deep marks. And here, this is a weird 4-inch abrasion. I wonder if it's perhaps the door's been too far open or something's been into the door itself. See what can be done about that. Progress for my day has been the wing and the edge across the top, and then to about here and down below in the edge all day. It's 5 to 6. Looking at the residue around the side repeater, you can see where the tape has been up to. This is the cutting pad and the action done the digging on the edge here, but I'm trying to preserve all the edges, hence all the tape on the, not so much, this is the door there. This is the wing, so we're taping a millimeter, don't forget. On the panel we're on the panel we're correcting. But just now to glaze the very edge of this, we've switched down to the yellow pad, having some safely massage that around the repeater before buffing off the residues. Oh, I've got a stinking headache today. So many noises, so many machines. Success on the side repeater, but this is going to need some more attention. I'm going to get the paper out and just reduce that down, flatten it down a bit, level it off. Such a frustrating colour. This is the drive, this is the offside door which hasn't yet been touched, and on a whole it doesn't look bad, but what the colour doesn't show is the paint condition here. If you go up you can see it absorbs light. It just doesn't, the whole door is covered, as was this wing, like here. But all you can see is this exact area. It doesn't highlight. What am I trying to say? This section has been cut. This is after one pass. Now this is typically the case on the car. This stuff is difficult to see the deeper stuff when it's covered in the mass. So you remove the mass and then you're left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look how the light, it's so difficult to use the light on flat colours. There's a cluster around here again. On the most part, everything here and the other side of the wing and down below has had at least 3 cutting passes to remove the remains of these deeper marks. So start the second cutting pass and see what we can chase out. After a little 3000 wet and dry, I'm happy with that. That's very much improved now with the KSK dynamics. Rid block, the sanding blocks, very nice to use actually. If you're wondering what this is, sliced my finger open last night, separating frozen potato wedges with a knife, straight down the side of my finger. Well done. Lots of this area is actually hidden when the grill is in place, but whilst it's out, it's nice to know that it's been done. Approaching 12:30. Started this morning sorting this panel, flatted this section, polished that section, and then I've been on the bumper all morning. 3 inch, 3 inch, 3 inch, 3, 3, 3, hybrid, 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 and now I'm about to hybrid. I've hand polished the surrounds in there so far. Still have to do the main part with the hybrid. Bearing in mind this section has been behind perspex glass. Look how many marks are down there. Definitely worth doing. Next up is this little section. Bit of a bucket trail going on, all the haze. Run that across. Microfiber followed by yellow. Microfiber followed by yellow. Microfiber followed by yellow. Microfiber, 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 microfiber. Yellow, 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 yellow. for a time lapse of the time taken to complete the remaining portion of the door, which is from the line up around the top and the wing mirror.
This is ridiculous.
Worst bit about this is there is a deadline. Transporter is due Friday afternoon. It is 6 PM Wednesday. Cutting is 90% done. Still got the refining, still got the engine bay, still got all the wheel treatments, protection, full interior, touch-ups. I don't know what's going to happen. Most part of the top of the door now cut. Still need to go at the top there. But this has had 3 hits. Look how the car's had no additional paintwork. This is factory paint. But considering it's the edges that are delicate and we're trying to preserve the edges as best possible, look how... just... come on. Give us a break. Help. And this side as well. Not as easy to pick up there because of the curve that drops down. Gonna have to retape this lip and really go to town on this. Oh, come on. Everything's against me. Apart from a cup of tea. Thanks again. Thanks again to Joshua from Hotchkiss Performance for sending them ups. Cheers, Josh. Apologies to my friends Dave, Andy and Carl. Tomorrow night, Thursday, I was supposed to be going over to Sheffield to the IMAX to see Black Panther, the next Marvel movie. But as we know by now, if you've been here before, the WhiteDetails service, it takes as long as it takes. And to be hit with the deadline for Friday collection really limits as to what can be done in the evenings. It's now fast approaching 7 PM. Still got the offside door to cut. I'm going to nip round there now, get a head start on that. And there's these little areas, the grills, the lights, the perspex lens covers for the lights themselves. It's very difficult to make plans. It's very difficult to have a life when you're trying to knock out a job like this, chasing perfection. What is perfection? What is perfect? I'll be the first to say that no vehicle that's left this door has been perfect. It's never been 100%. Sometimes it's not possible, especially this. I'm striving for perfection, I'm pushing, I'm chasing it, but you have to sometimes, in places, draw the line. Because there's so little else. Ruby, 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 Ruby. The B-pillar, as we get down to the very, very lower corners, I'm happy with how that's cut and correct now. But there we have a crack. There's a crack in the fiberglass. That isn't something I want to dwell on too much for obvious reasons, so the haze below it is going to have to stay. It'll be refined out, it'll be improved, but I'm not chasing too much more down there. The edges looking pretty solid. have to apologise, it's Friday, we've been rushed off the feet, the deadline's been looming quick. The last thing you saw, I have no idea. I don't think there's any refining, filming done. There was a little bit of touch-uppery done. The camera light is flashing, the battery light is flashing. It's all going to pot. Right, back in action. We have one refined Hyena Zagato. We have Terry's Engelbert Strauss shoes, because Terry, hello, is down here. It's real quite neat and tidy back there. We have a spare wheel set up and there's a bag for the car cover. And the only way in, oh yeah, I've not even shown you this yet. What's weird about the back, apart from the registration plate, which I can't show you, this is what you want to be looking for. There's no boot, it's all one big panel. Signature. So the only way in is through the door. Still got all the carbon fibre door panels and the dash to sort, the leathers in its final stages, glass in its final stages, tyres need dressing. All the edges and the door panels and the underside of the bonnet, that's all trimmed, dressed. That's all been polished up. This scuttle panel, that was an interesting section to machine polish. We have tidy engine bay, lots of touch-ups made. Don't quite know when collection is, so we're just ticking off leather, I can rub that off, carbon fibre interior, glass, we can rub that off, tyres, a wipe down. Alright guys, what a real shame. The driver is here waiting on the car, not really filmed any true after footage, so we're just giving you a quick walk around. I'll probably do a conclusion, sit down to the camera at the very end. It all feels a bit rushed, to be honest. Terry and I just saying it's a bit of a shame to see the end of the two cars, the Ferrari being next door. It's a bit of a rough ending after giving you all for 2 weeks to not be able to really appreciate it. But we've seen bits of this and bobs of this, so what I've got I will use. Lancia Integrale Hyena Zagato. Back on the transporter now, heading home.
Only 24 in the world of those.
Well, that's something you don't see very often, an empty unit. I feel exhausted. Just the last hour has been a push, it's been a stress. I've just updated my customer and I just feel a bit like I like to, everything's about 99%, but that 1% just to clean the surfaces, to sweep, the OCD comes out of me. And I just like to sit down, set all the lights up, absorb it, take it all in, think about it. And I just feel dirty. I feel like, it's all gone. It's finished, which is great, but part of me wishes I could just have the rest of the night or tomorrow, hence why I like to have the full 6-day, 7-day booking for the WhiteDetails. Thank you to Terry this week again for his hard work. These older vehicles next week will be no exception, do require some special care and attention. You just have to slow things down and work around existing problems without making new ones. Here's the customer there. So apologies, it's quite an abrupt end. There isn't the full journey for this episode, the Lancia. It's just, the camera's just been forgotten about. I've just had to, the both of us just had to knuckle in and get the list ticked off. Plenty more to look forward to. Hit subscribe if you aren't already, and we'll see you very soon.